America the beautiful, America the great, the land of the free, the place where most people call the great escape. But just like any delicious piece of candy, there can somewhere be a sour taste. And to reshape the flavor, we have to have this discussion face to face. The sit down, the conversation, the different opinions, and a whole lot of respect we can create. Our dialogue to reach an understanding and get a lot off our chests, for goodness sake. So grab a snack, something to drink, or a meat lover's pizza as we premiere this episode of Sweet America. Good morning. Hey, it's me, Lonnie B, your international Judy on duty. And I am here today with a series that I'm calling Sweet America. And I have my first guest that I'm so excited to have here with me today. She's an entrepreneur, she is a fashionista, she's a mom, and she's a wife, and she's also a part of my community. Without further ado, put your hands together and make a big round of applause for my girl, Stacey Fu!
Yes, I love it. That's an introduction right there. That's a fucking introduction.
How you doing, Stacey?
Write that down. I'm great, Lonnie. I'm happy to be here.
So tell me this, who is Stacey?
Stacey, first and foremost, is a DC native. I lead with that because I feel like all of the greats are really coming out of this city, and we're really starting to make some traction as far as being like social media influencers and just entrepreneurs, like you said. And then I'm a woman, a mom, a wife, a friend. I try to do my community activism. Sometimes I'm a comedian, all the time I'm a clown, but either way, I just feel like it depends on what day. You don't get a different Stacey every day.
Right.
All of them authentic, and they just make up me.
Right. Stacey, how long you been married?
I've been with my wife for 8 years as of July 4th this year.
So what made you want to be married?
Before I even knew I liked girls, I knew I wanted to be a partner. I wanted to be a pair. So what made me choose my wife is because I've never felt that type of unconditional love from anyone. I mean, can we curse on here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can be a bitch, and I know I can be a bitch. Yeah. Outside of the laughs and jokes that everybody else sees, she get a more serious side of me, and she loves that side of me.
Right.
And I didn't want to lose that.
What age were you when you said, I know what I want, I know who I am? First of all, have you ever tried being with a man?
I've absolutely never been with a man. There are some lesbian women who experienced that to know that that's not what they wanted. I'm not the experimental type. It's some foods I've never tasted. I know I absolutely hated them.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to, some things I don't have to experience to know this is not for me. I never found myself attracted to the traditional man. So I had 2 boyfriends. One when I was in 3rd grade. He turned out to be a tranny.
Okay.
I was a transgender woman, because I know they hate when we abbreviate. Sorry, don't start that bullshit with me. And then the second one, we used to call each other boyfriend and girlfriend, but he was really just my best friend. He used to do my hair, put my little, this is back when I was wearing my little glued in tracks, you know, put my little hair in a ponytail.
I would love to see those.
Child, the hair was refusing to grow. I had to put a little hair in there to get my little ponytail.
Right.
And he was like, and that was, I called him my boyfriend, and that was almost most of my high school years. Okay. And he turned out to be super gay. I mean,
Stacey, my girlfriend in what's that? Where we at? Junior high school. My girlfriend in junior high school. Her name is Shamia. Actually, she turned out to be gay.
See what your attraction was?
But so she went to Worcester, and then it turned her out.
I wasn't to do that to you. No, especially back in your years. You were lucky to get out of Worcester straight.
Listen, but I know what you're saying with that. Yes, but you already knew.
I did. My attraction. It took me a long time to even want to have sex, though. Like all of my friends in middle school had already started, doing them, and on Fridays they all in the bushes, and I'm like, I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, because I already know what's going down in the bushes, and I didn't really have that urge. I had so much childhood trauma. Sex was the last thing on my mind. We was homeless most of the time. Hungry some of the time. I'm from DC. That's a part of what we were going through, especially Wars 8 and 7. So while everybody else, and I moved to Maryland, so it was a culture shock for me. These people had couches and shit all in the house and food all in the refrigerator. There was no gunshots. But I mean, murder has drastically changed down PG County, but it was just different for me. So I was just trying to fit into that culture and not look like the poorest person out the group, even though I was. So it took me a long time to realize that. I knew I did not like guys, but I did not know I liked women just yet, because I wasn't having no sexual urges. I didn't have sex until I was 17, and that was with a female.
Wow. What part of DC you grew up in?
So my family's from Merlin Avenue, but we lived up in Potomac Gardens.
Oh, go ahead, bitch. Yeah, I see
go
what
ahead,
you're talking
we got about it. You know what I mean?
I see what you talking about. You said hungry.
Listen, baby, the shit barely standing to this day. And we bounced back and forth between living in Capitol Heights and my grandmother trying to, you know, they have that American dream of renting a house and then getting homeless and subleasing apartments from people in Potomac Gardens. Yeah. Imagine a motherfucker paying $11 for rent and you subleasing this shit from them. Right. And so that's what we was going through. But it was a fun experience. Like I didn't even know at that time how poor we were, how bad things were. I had fun. And then it wasn't until I moved away and seen what structure looked like. I was like, oh, bitch, that shit, I gotta go back home to. It was crazy. Right. So like y'all going out for family dinner and all that? Okay, that's nice. Yeah. And so this your day, your real day. Yeah. Really strong out, saying.
And I really want to do that.
Yeah. I wanted that real bad, but you know, I just suppressed it and I was like, bitch, I'm gonna have this life.
Right. So what do you think about our community? The LG, I don't know the letters in order.
Oh, I just thought that the LGBTQ. All the new stuff, that's for new people.
Yes, I don't know all that. No disrespect, but what do you think about our community now, you know, compared to back then?
Oh my God.
What do you like and what do you dislike?
I think the community, a lot of people should take notes about how progressive the LGBTQ community is. They have fought for more rights and they have more freedoms than Black Americans right now. We've been fighting a civil war with this country for 40, 50, 60, 100 years. And just their mainstream advocacy for just the last 30 or 40 years have superseded what we've been able to do. And the reason is because they're unified. In the LGBT community, you have your leaders, and people don't want to admit this, but it's the transgender women, right? And so again, and for me, I'm a little bit jealous because I'm like, even the men, when they become women, they still in charge. So this is a male-dominated world, and the transgender women have really everything that the gay people have is because of them. It's because of how hard they fight, how serious they are about not taking no's, and I'm jealous of it as a Black woman because I get more respect and more rights in this country identifying as gay than I do as a Black woman. And so, and I'm jealous of that.
Come on, Stephanie, talk.
Yeah, I'm happy for us, but I'm sad for myself that I have to always be like, when I'm, you know, when things aren't going my way or I feel like I'm being mistreated and they just see my Black face and I'm a Black woman, that I was just an angry Black female that's calling the police. But then when I mention, and me and my wife and son are here, we're not going to go through this, they get on eggshells like, oh, this is a same-sex family. We didn't know that. I'm going to go get the manager. We're very apologetic. They don't want no smoke with the LGBTQ community. Right. And I feel like that's my only sense of power right now. And I don't like that because I feel like as a Black woman, I should have that, I should be afforded that same respect. For just coming in with my Black face saying, hey, this isn't what I paid for. Right. I'm not happy with this. I shouldn't have to pull the gay card.
I agree with you on that. Do you think that some of the gays abuse that authority?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think it's the ones that are uneducated, right? So the uneducated gays seem to think every time they get offended that a new law should be made, right? That's just not the world we live in. Some things are going to upset you. Some things are going to make you uncomfortable or hurt your feelings. But every little thing is not a protest, right? You went to a sports bar and somebody turned around, two guys looked and laughed. Bitch, you might be underdressed. Everything is not like about being gay. But if you also walk in with your ass out, they might get a couple chuckles off you. So
and feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's in those moments I'm like, we gotta be real. Yeah. Right? So if you're at a school and you come in and y'all trying to do a drag show, you gotta understand there are going to be some people that's uncomfortable. They're not homophobic. They're just uncomfortable. Right. The same way you have white people uncomfortable with critical race theory being taught, right? They want to be the ones to break this news to their kids like, hey, great-great-granddad was a Ku Klux Klansman, right? They don't want the first time young Sarah hear that to be in an 8th grade classroom and then her Black friends are looking at her like, okay, Stick, what you can't explain? And she has no explanation. This is her first time hearing it too, right? So some things is like, you got to kind of step back, put yourself in other people's shoes and say, how would I feel if this is how this was presented to me? So now everything is not like, they just don't want us. Girl, we all over the place. Right. They can't stop us no more. The doors been kicked down. But we got to also understand that the world is changing gradually, right, slowly. Don't overdo it. Right. Don't overdo it. Because this
feel like it's being overdone.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like literally, people are scared to say anything. Comedians can't make gay jokes. You have me fucked up. I will make whatever kind of joke I want to make, and people like, you can do it because you're gay. Yeah. Even if I didn't identify as gay, I'd have been canceled a long time ago. Right. Because I'm gonna say what I want. Right. But I feel bad for those who feel like, oh, we can't say this because you know they'll cancel you. Like we have all the power, but we're not using it to be progressive to help other groups of people, and that's one of my issues with our community too. Y'all have fought for all of these rights, y'all have all of this stuff, but y'all have allies, and y'all have not reached back to help any of these other allies, right? So I don't see a lot of the LGBT community, the big names, going back into these schools and creating any programs for these children who have these identity issues, right? They just saying, teach it, let the teachers teach it. No, you guys come in and be a support group for these kids.
Right.
Nobody knows this community better than us.
Right.
Y'all just saying, put it in the books, let them, and they'll say what?
Right.
Put it in the book and say what?
Right.
They're going to be more confused because as a heterosexual woman, I'm just going to read it, teach the lesson, and move on.
Yeah.
Right? But when you can identify and relate to these things, it should come from you.
Right. And it won't have passion behind it because they can't identify it.
They have no idea. They're just reading it. Like I say, it's no passion. I'm just doing my job.
Yes. So what do you feel about, in certain cities, transgender women can have a full sex change free? But for a black man that's been shot, and don't have no medical insurance and stuff like that, he's about to die.
Health, I'm telling you, that's the policymakers. That's why I said the gays have made it so if I'm not mistaken, the head of the health administration for our current president is a transgender woman. So they have people in high positions, right? That's where power comes from. We got to start voting for people who look like us, identify as us, and have the same respect for the issues that we have, right? They have the same passion for it. As black people, there's nobody to say, hey, we know that there is a trauma-induced issue in Ward 7 and 8. We know that there's violence. We know that there's not enough trauma centers and hospitals in these wards, but this is where all the violence is happening. So instead of 50 million convenience stores and gas stations and hot Cheeto stands and shit, we need some quick wraparound services for these people. Where if we know that if Third World and off of Atlantic Street, there's likely to be a shooting or a homicide or something like that. Why is there's no trauma centers close by? You're trying to get these people to Providence and Washington Hospital Center, and it's not addressing the real issues that's happening right here. But we have to say, hey, this is what we want. We're not saying that. We're sitting around saying, I want affordable housing. Fuck affordable housing. You're worried about a place to live, but you're not even going to be alive. We're living in a war zone, and we're not even advocating for the right things, but we need leadership, right?
Right.
We need somebody to advocate for us, because sometimes we don't even know what's best for us, what we want and what we need. We're letting other people tell us. So the gays know exactly what they want, right? They've been advocating for these women walker centers to come around. I'm a part of that committee right now, and that center is coming right to Ward 8 right now, right on MLK, where they're building a new hospital. They're making their needs known, and they're making sure they stay on top of these people so that it happens. When the last time you heard black people get on the TV and say, hey, we need some health clinics over here? HIV/AIDS rising. There's no reason in 2023 somebody still should be getting infected with HIV when you have all of these precautionary pills that you could just take, even if you're in the lifestyle. Nobody should still be getting infected. We're not saying that. We're saying things like, oh, we want free baby daycare and free housing. I don't want free housing. I want to be able to afford the expensive condos you're building. So how do we close that gap? Right. Don't subsidize no units for me. If I need to make $130,000 to live comfortable in DC, show me how. What jobs are these? What credentials do I need so I can get that job? I don't want no set-asides.
Right.
That's not helping us.
Right. And DC have a lot of programs that a lot of people are unaware about.
I think we're over-resourced with programs, though. You could go to DC right now in Ward 8 in the side of town I live in with Congress Heights. It's 50 nonprofits doing the same thing. Why? Why? We all doing the same thing, right? Teaching literacy, right? Trying to help people get their high school diplomas, and then once they get their high school diploma, get a credential so they can be work ready, right? So like OSHA or flaggers, giving them their first aid CPR, like I teach Microsoft, right? And so all of these things are great, it helps, but the people are getting these credentials, leaving the program, getting locked up, going back home, they're not applying themselves, we're calling, we're trying to do, full service, like, hey, we found an interview for you to go on, you ready to go? Oh, I'm going through with my baby mother, and that's what I'm saying. If we don't address the root issues, the trauma that people are going through, the codependency on the government, our people have become heavily relied on, nothing's going to change. Nothing. I talk to parents every day at my school. They got 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and we're sending home homework, they're sending it back like, oh, hey, mom, they didn't do the homework. They're like, yeah, because I'm not no teacher. Y'all keep sending all this shit home. I got other kids. And I get that frustration, right? But at the same time, how ignorant is that to say?
Right.
And I'm not saying this ignorant in a way like these bitches ignorant. They really don't think that this is their job. You are your child's first teacher.
Right.
Right? At 5, it's mandatory for them to go to kindergarten, come to school. Then it's our job. But up until they're 5, that's your job, plus 5 to 18.
Right.
You're the other teacher. When they get home, it's your job to enforce what we've taught at school. At least look at the homework to know where they are, so that when you come to these meetings and be like, hey, you're going to keep little Johnny back, you're not surprised. Like, nobody told me nothing. Yeah, we've been sending it home in a folder. You're not reading it. But the mothers are illiterate, graduated with a high school diploma, but read on the 3rd grade level, so you can't tell them shit. right? You have a piece of paper that says, hey, you finished high school, but what they're really saying is you attended all the years you're supposed to go. You don't know anything that can prove that you deserve that high school diploma.
You just showed up.
You just showed up. They have decreased the requirement for getting a senior out of these DC public schools because the public schools are federal. So they just like, at first used to be like, oh, truancy, if you don't meet the attendance requirement, you can't graduate. Are they done with that?
And that's why they're building all these charter schools. And
I love charter though, right? The alternative is that the charter schools, the only difference between a public school and a charter school, they both got to take standardized tests. They both got to follow a certain curriculum. The charter schools are independently run by people who have doctorates and things like this who are saying, hey, I'm a good leader. I can lead this school to success. Versus DC public schools, there's a lot of politics involved. They're picking their principles, right? These schools are directly under the mayor still. They're picking their principles. They have a certain requirement. They got to follow DC hiring laws and all of these things. So you get what you get. And so, and like you said, you graduate from DC schools. Look at Anna, look at Eastern. They're the same. Look at Hines. They're the same, right? So that's what happens.
9 times out of 10, you could be hiring a janitor to be a principal.
As long as he got the credentials.
Yeah.
If he's favored it, and it's politics. There's a lot of politics in the school system. And I love our mayor. I know a lot of people got a lot of issues with her. I love her because the more people ask for money, the more she dump money into things. My problem with our current mayor is that nobody's following this money, right?
So people see where it's been put at.
You get what I'm saying? And so
it could be put in her account.
Don't play with my girl Mary. But thinking you taking the money, give me some. Come on, share the wealth. But she a part of our community too.
Yes,
don't play with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gave him a sneaky little come out.
Yeah.
She said, yeah. So who y'all playing? But I never said I wasn't gay. Next question. You have been talking stupid. So.
I knew in the structure.
But
go ahead.
The head threw me off though. Cause like, what type of gay is this? We gonna get our head out stinking. That's what was throwing me off. But when she kept getting smart, that's what let me know. Okay, so she real shaky. Yeah, it's offensive. Stink gay. Yeah. Yeah, that's my Buddha. That's my neck like Alexis on act right. I like being a mean bitch. Maybe Bowser's a mean bitch.
Oh my God. So back to the gay community. So when you say this, the gays are in this position, when the gays get in this position, they only think gay. So do you think that it's okay that they only think gay, or they're selfish? Because we coming up, we wanted to be accepted by everybody.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, okay.
So this is another thing. Okay, so with that question, Lonnie, I look at it this way. All minorities think this way, right? Black people who fighting for Black Lives Matter. That's their only focus, right? They don't typically band together with the gays to be allies, right? And I feel like all the minority groups should be a united front. We all got the same agenda, equality, right? We all want the same thing that we feel like white America had. But we're all so separate because Black men, right? Clearly, there's some type of extinction going on with us, right? So there's a war on Black men in this country.
Us killing us.
Yeah, the war is two-sided, right? Can you imagine being in the center of a war and you got white supremacy that's still going on through our education system, through our judicial system, through our police system, right? And then on the other side of that, we're so deeply rooted with hatred towards each other because of all of the trauma and the systemic racism. We fight each other.
Yes.
We fight each other. All of the crime and robbery happen in the poorest wards. Why? Y'all, okay, y'all want to be street boys. Why y'all not going to Bethesda and Gaithersburg and taking the nice shit? Why are you breaking into houses in Congress Heights? I'm just as poor as you. You come in and take my little TV? Why you not going to these neighborhoods where you know they're going to turn their Ring camera in and get your ass locked up? That's why. You're a predator. You're preying on your own people because we live by this no snitching code. So you break into my house, here I am reluctant to call the police because when they lock you up, they be like, Stephanie, hide as shit. She got that teenage boy locked up over a TV.
Would you snitch?
I'm on the fence with it. Because my son is at my house, I'm not going to be a victim in it, right? And I don't want him to live in fear. So I don't know if I would snitch, but if somebody's child broke into my house, he's probably going to die. And then I gotta live with that. That's still trauma, right? Because I'm scary. I've been shot a rope if it moves too loud in that motherfucker. So any noise I hear, because it ain't no man in my house, it's me and Lexus. And then she looking to me and I'm looking at her like, bitch, come with me. I heard that noise too, but it's gonna be strength in numbers. We need to go downstairs together. But she looking at me like be the man. So here I am with the gun shaking, and you gonna get shot. And you just coming in here trying to whatever, $5, $10, whatever you looking for to get your high, and you done lost your life because I'm afraid.
Yes.
DC laws don't protect that though. They don't have no self-defense. Even if you're in my house, I need to be in imminent danger, meaning you back me into a corner. If I just shoot you because I caught you hold my TV in the living room, I'm going to jail. That's manslaughter.
Shoot them from the back.
And then if they leave, I don't give a fuck to shoot you from the back. But if I catch you roaming around here, you gonna die.
Right.
But I've been shot everything, the toaster, the refrigerator line, they would shoot this shit up. Yeah, I'm letting this shit ring. And her ass back upstairs like, bitch, call the police, you heard the gunshot, bitch. You still sitting in the bed. Bitch, this is not a drill. The truth is it.
Yes, I'm like you too. I'm scared of shit.
Yeah, I'm like, what's that? Who's that? Yeah, I'm laying this shit out. I've been shot through the door.
So basically what you're saying, it's just the gays' responsibility to look after the gays.
I think it's all of our responsibility to look out for each other. We got this separate attitude about categories. The gays, the straights, the blacks, the poor, the affluent. Right? So anybody that fit into this minority category, the Hispanics, poor blacks, poor whites, I don't understand how we're not moving on one accord. When the 1% is clearly all of our enemy. Capitalism is our enemy, right? People keeping this wealth disparity between the have and the have-nots. We still so small-minded, and I think it's very strategic in its plan to keep us feuding with each other.
Yes.
So they give one group a little bit of this, and then you happy, and the other group like, why they get that? And they like, huh, you take this.
Right,
Every time one of y'all get killed by the police, we'll give you a check. We let y'all sue the government, give y'all the check. And white people like, that's crazy. That's justice. Y'all, and they keep us feuding about the same stupid shit over and over, and no real results are happening. We done had two of the dumbest fucking presidents in the last 8 years. Donald Trump, a fucking racist idiot. Joe Biden, senile old ass man. Nothing's getting done.
Nothing.
I think Kamala been on vacation all 2 years they've been in there. Both of the years they've been in there. Sting just popped out and bought a book or record at the record store uptown, and she gone back to sleep. I don't know how much leave Kamala got. The bitch don't work.
Stephanie, it's so much division.
That's how they keep that strategic though. Can you imagine if all of your enemies came together? But if I know I got all these enemies, my biggest goal is to keep y'all separated. One individually, I can fight y'all. But if y'all banded together, that's me versus an army. And that's what the government knows. That's what white supremacists know. If all of the people we fucked over in this country banded together, we become the minority. They become the majority. The strength in numbers, they keep us separated.
Right.
They keep us separated. We hate each other. And war ain't what. Everybody's fucking poor. You got people saying, I don't fuck with them niggas around the corner. MLK, we beefing with Third. Are you stupid? You know how dumb that sound?
Yeah.
You beefing with 2 blocks over. Why? I always been like that. It's been for years. You sound stupid.
And they got just as much as you.
Yeah, we all poor. You talking about we beefing. And then I don't understand that. In the poorest wards, we got the most expensive guns. Dracos, hollow tips. Where is this shit coming from?
And shoes, Balenciaga.
Oh, baby. They gonna put some shit on, ain't they? And go stand in front of the gas station. Oh, I'm like...
Everybody seems to be a little uneducated.
That's what it is.
And that's because everybody, like, I honestly think people are afraid to go talk to those people.
Yeah.
Nobody is brave enough to be like, you remember how back in the day where people were like, come here, let me holler at you, young fella. You know, it's none of that no more.
Because social media, even the OGs who know the truth and have the knowledge, they want to be cool and popular now. They like likes. They don't care about going back out, reaching back out, and saving lives. They just want to get on TV, get on their social media platform and say they're going to do it. Sound cool. Listen, back in my day, younger, we used to da-da-da-da. Yeah, but you saying this, you preaching to the choir. Go outside and play terrorist and tell them that.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the 200, 300, 4,000 people who have followed you on here, who already like you, already know what you're about. Go out there and preach to them youngest who's still in the kids and spinning beds, bored, 13, 12, 14-year-olds, ready to die over nothing. You got 12, 13, 11-year-olds high on perp 30s with guns. So they get in this Superman complex because they on drugs. This is the junkiest group of teenagers I've ever seen in my life.
And
we did our little dibble and dabble when I was coming up, but baby, it was never giving Percocets and all this prescription shit they on. It was a little weed, a little Bombay, a little 51, whatever we could get from the liquor store, but it was never giving perks.
So it was giving
you never did anything, drink or anything. I don't even know how this bitch be turned up. And to dip about a party on your ass too to get too late. Don't even get the fuck out of here. He's like, if y'all drunk and high, I'm gone. Because I'm not operating up in those drugs.
No.
Don't even get out of there.
Back in my day, it was UUVs and go-go.
That's it. No, seriously. And you knew who your enemies was.
Yes.
You knew who your enemies was.
Yes.
But these kids, I mean, it's hard to reach them, but they're not unreachable, if that makes sense, right? Somebody has to really dedicate the time to say, you know what, enough is enough. We living in fear of teenagers. You know how crazy that sounds?
I think the problem I had with my nieces and nephews, they think they know it all.
They do.
They think they know it all. Like, I'd be like, are you listening, bitch? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just think they know it all. You sit there, you talk to them till you blue in the face. As soon as you leave, they just do whatever the opposite.
But that's coming from this. That's coming from this shit. Well, how you gonna tell me, Uncle Lonnie, look right here. You read, you like, bitch, just goofy ass article written by, look what it say, Boombox Brit. You like, this ain't even no real source. You can't tell them, you like, this ain't even no credible source.
That's right.
But that's what they think, that's where they get all their information from. They like, nah, all of what they know comes from their phone, right? And so I get it. Technology is a great thing, but at some point we got to put this shit down and start reading again, and having our own opinion and doing some critical thinking. All of our opinions coming from articles, the Shade Room, Media Takeout. Right? These are blog sites. It's for entertainment. They'll take facts and distort it if it's going to get 1 million views, if it's going to get 100,000 comments. They don't really care about the truth, right? So that's one of the things I focus on with my son. He's detached from technology, and that's for a reason, right? I don't need him being a zombie to YouTube videos. I don't need him being a tablet zombie, and I'm trying to talk to him, and he, okay, Mike, and I don't have the time to police what you're watching, so we're just not going to watch that shit.
That's right.
We're going to live in real time.
Right.
And that was one of the biggest things for me that made it hard for me to keep going with my comedy and hosting and trying to be a content creator, because in order to be a good influence on my son, I had to detach myself, right? If I'm always like this, kids do what they see, not what they told.
That's right.
Not what they told.
What they see. You right.
Yeah. And we grew up in that generation that's do as I say.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so we still did what we saw, but we pretended to do what they said. These kids straight up doing what they see.
Right.
So if your son in school pretending to shoot up his classroom, that's what y'all do at home. That's the videos y'all watch. That's the conversations he hears.
Right.
Then you'll whoop his ass like he doing something that's embarrassing you. Think y'all taught him that. That's called exposure.
That's right.
If your daughter's writing notes about fucking, that's what she hear at home.
Yeah.
Them the songs you let her listen to. When you turned up and you about to drop her off at grandma's house and y'all all in the car, I'm fuck nigga free. That's what she's taking in. She's fuck nigga free. So when she go to her 3rd grade class, this is how she talk to people. Right? And you can't.
So
and then you're ready to jump on her and punish her. But instead you should sit down and recondition her mind. And you could still discipline for the behavior, but there's no reason you're whooping her ass when she's mimicking you. You're her greatest influence. Not her gay teacher.
Yeah.
None of that. You are.
Shout out to my niece mother. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yes, you're right about that. And y'all notice she said, okay, so listen up, y'all. So I done said Stacy, I done said Stephanie, I done said Big Steph. 3 names, I'm talking to the same person, okay? Just letting y'all know. So y'all notice she said her son. So she has a son that your wife carried.
Yep.
How did y'all make that decision of who was gonna carry? Yes, are you enjoying this interview? Because I am. Now, if you want to see the rest of this interview, you got to head on over to my membership club. Now, that's going to be at www.patreon.com/LonnieB's members only. So head on over there today so you can get all the exclusive content from your Judy on Duty, me, Lonnie B. All right, that again is www.patreon.com/LonnieB's members only. See you there.